Hello, Randolph Eastern families. Mr. Black, Superintendent here at Randolph Eastern School Corporation. I'm bringing to you our reopening plans for the 2020-2021 school year. I know this has been long awaited. I know the spring was very difficult for many of us, and this pandemic continues to give us some trials, but it's nothing that I don't think working together we can't get through. So with that said, I do have a couple highlights that I'd like to share with you concerning our plan to come back, and then I'm going to turn it over to our building principals, Mr. Winkle and Mr. Adams, with some information. But just a quick overview for you before I introduced our principals. First of all, school is going to start August 12th, 2020. We are coming back. We're bringing our students back. They need it. We need it. We all need that sense of normalcy. So school will begin August 20th. And our school calendar that we've shared out before and we will share again will remain in place. The only difference that you'll see is our day has been shortened a little bit, the school day, but as far as days that we're going to be in attendance, that will start on August 12th. Just briefly, our elementary, all K.I.S.S students will be in the building every day starting August 12th. So that's just something very important to note. Our junior, senior high students are going to start on a blended schedule. This blended schedule, sometime in the midst of chaos, you have opportunity. This is an opportunity for us to exemplify the technology work and the technology we have available at Randolph Eastern. K.I.S.S TV will be integral in that, and just our teachers' ability to promote good online learning. So they will open up in a digital format. Then to go beyond that, every student will have the option, and family, if you don't feel comfortable sending your student to school because of the fear of the pandemic and fear of your student getting sick, they may have high-risk health issues, there will be a digital option for every student ran through Randolph Eastern. You'll still be one of our students, but that option will be available to you. On the top of masks, I know this is very important to a lot of people. They're going to be encouraged, but not required in all spaces. We all are, however, going to ask our students to wear their masks on the buses. Buses are a contained environment, and if your student rides a bus, we've got a lot of bus drivers that we want to protect during this time, and students we want to protect. That just comes a can for germs. So we are asking that students that ride a bus to wear a mask to and from school. And we're also going to ask our students to wear a mask when they're in our hallways. Our students are not going to be asked to wear masks in the classroom. They're not going to be asked to wear masks all day. Just in a couple of situations where we feel like we can't socially distance, we're going to ask our students to wear masks. The other topic I want to touch on quickly, athletics. It's on. As of today, I will tell you that our athletic plan is to move forward. Our events, our schedules, phase one of the reopening plan athletics has already began. So that's all athletics. Randolph Eastern, Union City are on for the 2020-21 school year. But just know that there may be some accommodations and things that we have to do to make this happen. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Mr. Winkle and Mr. Adams, and they will share specifically some reopening plans that are specific to Northside Elementary and the Union City Junior Senior High School.
This is Mr. Winkle. I wanted to share some information with our students, families, and communities this morning about opening this coming August. We are planning on having students here on the 12th. We're going to bring back all of our Northside students, and I'll go through some points here, some information that you might need to know, and then at the end I'll share some other things as well. Now, I just want to thank you for being flexible, being supportive of us this year. The finish to the school year is been problematic at best. We just appreciate your flexibility and willingness to work with us. And our teachers have worked hard to support staff, and I just want to thank them as well for finishing in a difficult situation. Hopefully you're getting some time with family this summer, and we'll be ready to go August 12th. The school day this year will be a little shorter. It's going to be about an hour and 5 minutes shorter than typical. Students will enter the building at 8:20, go to the classrooms. There won't be any morning meeting this year. They'll go straight to the classrooms and they'll get breakfast there. Then dismissal will be at 2:20 for walkers and 2:30 for pickup and bus riders. So just some things to keep in mind. There will be our specials classes this year, because we've condensed, will look different. We're going to have a recess schedule. We're going to run one. In lieu of the special schedule, we'll have a recess schedule. Our teachers that typically teach specials are going to be doing some remediation and trying to help close the gaps that's developed from the close of this year. Also, then Mrs. Overlease is going to teach a section of third grade to get our numbers a little smaller in third grade. So specials is going to be a little different. But if you've taken the fact that we're shortening today, then using them for remediation, it makes sense. So, but I'll touch a little bit more on recess here in a few minutes. Breakfast and lunch. I mentioned breakfast at 8:20 in the classroom. Lunch will also be in the classroom. Now we're going to work with our kids and staff to make sure that we keep messes to a minimum, but we know that's going to happen. But to keep kids together in groups and not being able to move around, be with each other, we think that's the best way to do that for lunch, breakfast and lunch. The big thing that's out there right now is masks. The question is, will students have to wear masks? Will students be able to not have to wear masks? They are going to have to wear some masks. However, when they're in the classroom with their class, they will not have to wear their masks. So coming to school in the hallways, restrooms, where social distancing isn't quite possible, and they're not with their cohort in their classroom, they're going to have to wear masks. Now, keep in mind that each student will receive a cloth mask and then also a disposable mask. Now, if they misplace, lose, you know how kids are, I know as well, they lose things. So just be aware that if they lose their cloth mask, their disposable mask, then that's going to be something that you may have to deal with. But they're not going to have to wear the mask all the time in the classroom. So now I think I'm not sure if I mentioned, but if they're riding bus, they'll have to wear their mask on the bus. So keep that in mind as well. Visitors, parties, and field trips. At this time, what we're going to say is that we're not going to do those. So visitors coming into the school, typically we allow parents, families to come in and eat lunch with students. That's not going to happen this year. So field trips are on hold right now, and so are parties. Now, I want to go back to recess. We're going to have recess outside. We're going to have recess inside. If we can get outside, we're going outside. The health department is in agreement on this, and that it's the best for our kids to get out. I'm also telling our teachers, if we can get the educational setting outside, particularly while the weather's nice, I'm going to encourage that as well. So we will be having recess inside and outside. Inside when the weather does not permit, outside at all other times. Now, they're going to be only in their classrooms. So typically before we'd have a grade level recess, we're going to have a class level recess. So it'll just only be classes out in certain areas at certain times. So we'll keep that separation as well during recess. Lockers, 4th through 6th grade will not be using lockers this year. School items and school materials will be kept in desk and in other designated areas. If it's not school related, encourage your kids to keep those things at home. Registration this year will be online, and information is going out today. Today, information is going out, going to be mailed along with codes. So that, be looking for that in the mail. It's also going to be on the school website. We'll get that on Facebook and also Twitter, how to do that. Now, if you find it difficult to be able to do that, the school is going to be open July 30th from 1 to 7, and you can come in and get some help with that registration process. Also, then sickness. This is probably one of the biggest things, and we'll talk more a little bit about this and send some more things out to you. If your students exhibiting symptoms of COVID or sickness, keep them at home. I know that students really like the perfect attendance. This year's not the year to be worried about perfect attendance. So if your students exhibiting symptoms, keep them at home. If you have someone that is able to pick kids up, if they exhibit symptoms while they're here, we're going to call you. They're going to need to be picked up. Look, I know a lot of you work, and it's hard for you to get off work and get kids picked up. But if you can have someone available, that's going to be really important for us this year. So make sure we have that information during registration. I would say that conversations to have with the kids this summer, and before you come back, talk to them about the importance of wearing their mask when they're asked to do that at school. And like I said, it's not going to be all the time, but just remind them that it's not necessarily protecting them, it's protecting others around them. So, being kind and considerate for those around them. So have that conversation with them. Covering sneeze or cough, and we've been teaching that for years, but just continue to remind them. Washing hands for 20 seconds, and I know these are things that you're already doing, but just doing those reminders. The social distancing. Now, we know that with little kids, this is going to be very difficult. That's why we're keeping the kids in cohorts or in classes. And so, their day is going to be spent with their teacher and, their classmates. Could be, I think for Northside, it runs 15 to 20 kids. So anyway, we're aware of that. And social distancing, when they're not in the classroom is going to be important. So, and like I said before, I'm sure you're having those conversations with them. The student handbook, I want to talk a little bit about that. The last page in the student handbook, which it's not posted yet, but it will be on the corporation website. There's an addendum page, and on that addendum page, I've hit most of these areas already, but just be aware of those. And one of those areas, talked about some possible discipline areas related to COVID. One of them would be the mask. If students are asked to wear the mask in social areas and they refuse, the other then is some coughing, sneezing, things on purpose. But I don't look for that really to be an issue, but I just want you to be aware. I want to draw your attention to the addendum page so you can take a look at that. It's just a little bit different than what has been in the handbook in years past. So I just wanted to bring your attention to that. Let me check my notes here. The other thing, virtual lessons. Having heard all this, we're all coming back. We're going to stay together in sections, lunch and recess, or lunch and breakfast in classrooms. So you've heard the basics about all this. If you still have kids with compromised immune systems or pre-existing conditions or someone at home, you're just still uncomfortable with coming back, we're going to provide virtual lessons. So if that's something that you're going to want for your students, certainly reach out to myself, Mr. Black, the offices, and let us know that. But just to know that there will still be virtual lessons available for families that require that or need that. In closing, here's what I would say. We've worked hard on this, and this has been very difficult. We've spent a lot of hours as an admin team. The kids, we've been in, as the kids have been out, teachers have been providing lessons. We've been talking about how does this look when we come back. And it's been, we've had our ups and downs. We've agreed to disagree in some areas. But we feel like now we have a solidified plan to get kids back into the schools. And we're all in agreement. The school board's in agreement. So I think we're in a good place. Now, having said that, things can change in a heartbeat. And when I say things, I'm talking about government regulations, the CDC, the local health departments. Things can change. This is a fluid situation. So you keep informed. We're going to keep you informed. And then if anything changes between now and the 12th, we're going to let you know that. And I think the operative word, again, is going to be the flexibility. And we're a team in this, and we're excited about getting Northside students back in the building, getting the staff back together. We look forward to the kids coming back. Once again, I want to thank you for your support. We look forward to seeing you soon. And I hope that you stay healthy this summer. Enjoy the rest of the next few weeks. Thank you.
Welcome to our reopening presentation. Mr. Adams, I'm the junior senior high school principal here at Union City Junior Senior High School. We appreciate your patience and flexibility and understanding in these unprecedented times and us coming up with a plan. Obviously, there is no playbook for anything like this from the past, so we are kind of working with the guidance we've been given from our state governor, our Department of Education, and our state and local health departments. With that being said, there's been a lot of hard work that went into this, and we hope that you are understanding and flexible and will work with us on our plans. It's going to look a little different than the elementary based on our school day and how our building rotates and operates. We're going to go on what we call a hybrid schedule. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll have a red group that will physically be in the building. It'll be about half our students. The blue group, as we're calling them, will be doing some distant remote learning, doing the same lessons that the students that are physically here are doing. Then on Thursday and Friday, the blue group will physically be at school doing their work, while the red group would be doing their work remotely. The next week, the red group would go Monday and Tuesday, and the blue group would be here at school Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So out of a 10-day period, a student would physically be in the school building 5 days. So that's 50% of the time. We feel that this best gives us ability to social distance, control our environment, keep kids safe, and have the opportunity to also physically be with them, giving them some one-on-one instruction. In fact, I think with this plan, we'll even be able to do more one-on-one with each individual student. If your student has specific accommodations that they need, such as if they're an EL or a special ed student, we can work out days that they're not scheduled to be here to come get extra support and help if need be. And if that time comes, we can work that out as well. There will be some cheating charts required in each classroom just for contact tracing if we need to get to that point. We will also be offering a 100% online option if for some reason you feel that your student is a high risk candidate or has a health issue, or you're just worried about catching the COVID-19, we can work with you on a case-by-case basis and be doing the same opportunities and same lessons as students that would come. You would just be doing it 100% online or remotely. That is still will be an option for you to pursue. But again, if you have that option and have that concern, you need to contact us so that we can arrange that. Breakfast and lunch will look a little different. Breakfast will be a grab and go. You'll take it to your first period class, eat that. Lunch, we'll have 2 lunch periods, a high school lunch period, a middle school lunch period, and then you also have a assigned area that you'll need to eat out for the entire year or for as long as we're doing this with that same group of kids, just so that we can contact trace again if we need to get to that point. We hope we don't, but if we do, we'll have that ability so we wouldn't have to shut the whole school down. Mask, I know that's a hot topic everywhere you go, whether that be at schools, going to Walmart, Menards, just anywhere. Our expectation would be in the common areas, such as the hallways, the buses, or at lunch, or if you have to go to the restroom or something. Part of the reason for us going to the hybrid, so we wouldn't have to wear a mask in the classrooms. And we'll be able to social distance more while you're in the classroom. We wouldn't have to have the mask on, so we can be 6 feet apart. If we had everyone here at once, that may become a bigger issue. Now, if you're working in partners or groups, there may be a time where we would need to have a mask on. Because as we know, it's not so much surface spread anymore. I think they're finding out it's more airborne spread, so that would help protect yourself, or maybe from you from getting it and taking it home to an older person, or even some of our staff members who have some health issues as well. Visitors and assemblies and field trips. At the moment, field trips are suspended until we work through this and figure out what those will look like. I think most schools across the state will be suspending field trips, so some of those activities may be online virtually. We'll work through that as time goes. We get questions on that, so we've not ruled them out. It's just something that's down the road as we work through that. Extracurriculars, sports has already just started up again this week on a phase system, and there's some expectations that those athletes and coaches are working through. Other extracurriculars, we are working on that plan as school gets started, what those may look like as well. Sickness this year, based on COVID and all that, there would be some requirements if you're feeling sick or have a fever. More specifics will come out on that. But please stay home if you're feeling sick, just because that will prevent the spread of that or the flu or whatever it may be. Don't worry about attendance this year as in many years past. That doesn't mean take advantage of it, but obviously monitor yourself, self-check for fever, sore throat, all those things that go with that symptoms. Lockers this year, this will be a total change from what we've done in the past. No lockers will be in use. Backpacks will be allowed to be carried. Just try to limit what you carry and keep your personal stuff at home. Only bring what you need. So that's a change of what we've done in the past. That'll be a 1-year reprieve, or until we get back to more normal, lockers won't be used. We will be going to online registration. I believe we sent out a letter earlier this year. You should be getting more information on that here this week or next on a code that you need to enter and to get online. You'll be able to get on our Facebook and Twitter to find that link and school website with that code and be able to register your student. We will also have a day coming up at the end of July to work on registration here at school if you need some computer access. I already mentioned virtual lessons. If you have a concern about health or your student health, or you have a high-risk member at home that you do not want your student coming, contact us and we can work out a virtual 100% online option. There will be some disciplinary actions if you have a student who, in the past, we've all been funny. We want to go up and fake sneeze on somebody or cough on someone thinking we're funny. This probably wouldn't be the year to do that just because of the situation we're in. There won't be a lot of patience and understanding for that. So be looking for the addendum to our handbook that'll be getting approved here with our reopening plan. And you can look at some of those rules and regulations that will be with that and some expectations. Immunizations are important. They're really stressing that this time and this time of year with all that's going on. Our expectations with the required immunizations will be done by October 1st, or we could exclude you from school. In closing, if you have questions or comments, you can always call us or email us. We'll be glad to answer them to the best of our ability. We'll always look for that open dialogue. We know this is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for teachers, staff, the drivers, the coaches, the students, the families. But I think if we work together, we can all make and minimize and mitigate this pandemic and this virus that's going on. And hopefully by doing this, we can get back to normal sooner if we all do our part. So once again, thank you. We look forward to your support. We appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to a good year.
Thank you, Mr. Winkle, Mr. Adams. Our administrative team has done an incredible job putting a plan in place to keep our students safe, to come up with a sustainable plan that I think we can stick with for the long term, even if the virus does creep into our facilities. So job well done to our administrative team and the work that they've put into those plans. I just want to quickly just touch on the slide that's up. Know that there's going to be different phases. If we have a spread of COVID in Randolph Eastern Schools, we may have to move to the yellow phase, which will become a blended environment for all students K-12. Worst case scenario, we have an issue where the state comes in and says you're going to have to go back to e-learning. That is the red column that you'll see in our reopening plan. So just know that there are phases and there's ability for us to be very fluid and react to what we're seeing. There's the ability for us to, if we have a vaccine and we feel very safe, we come back normal. So this is a very fluid situation, and your patience is key in that. The other item I want to talk on is the next slide here is just on screening and symptom checking. We're not going to screen your students at the door. We're asking that our parents do their very best to self-screen their students before they come to our facilities. And this is not the year for anybody to be cavalier and come to school when you're not feeling well. We're just simply asking now that if you have a sick child, that you keep that student at home so we don't run the risk of any type of spread of infection within our schools. But please make yourself familiar with this slide. Again, it'll be available on our website. We will get a hard copy out to our parents in the next couple of weeks. But the screening and exclusion page is very important for our parents to understand and know how we make decisions on how long your student will be out of school once they present some symptoms. Finally, I just want to say, families, we need you to be flexible, and we need you to remain patient with us just like you have been. This is a very difficult and trying time for us. It's a very difficult and trying time for you. As your school leader, I will tell you I'm committed to two things. One, keeping our students and staff safe, and two, continue to educate our students at Randolph Eastern at a very high level. I believe the plan that we've put together as a team will do just those two things. And beyond that, I think our plan is very sustainable. But again, stay tuned with us, stay flexible, stay patient, and stay with us as we move through the 2020-21 school year. Stay safe, and thank you for all you do.